Good morning. Welcome to Own the Chaos. My name is Brad. The stock market is crazy and chaotic, and I made it my mission to help you guys own it. Really wild and crazy day in the market yesterday. Listen, I left yesterday's stream, and the market looked as if it was in good hands. And then Janet Yellen comes in and just shits on everybody's parade. We're going to talk about that this morning and what the hell is going on between Jerome Powell and Janet Yellen and why the markets did what they did yesterday and what they're doing right now. It is Thursday, March 23rd, 2023. It is going to be another interesting day. Guys, the markets right now are green. The S&P 500 is up 25 points or 0.6%. The Dow is up 96 points or a third. NASDAQ's up 1% or 133 points. Really nice bounce there. The Russell 2000's up almost 1% as well. We take a look at Bitcoin, and that is sitting at actually down 743 points. That's down 2.63%. Lots of drama going on in the crypto space, and in particular with Coinbase. So we're going to talk about that later in the show as well, so make sure you're sticking around. But that's sitting at $27,533 per Bitcoin. I'm trying to get together one of our cryptocurrency correspondents so we can get clear explanations as to what's going on. If you guys haven't checked out, Square, aka Block, is also down 20% as a result of what's kind of been going on. The SEC is really cracking down on exchanges, and it has just been an absolute mess. Jake Paul, Lindsay Lohan's also getting sued by the SEC in relation to a lot of the things revolving around crypto. So it is the drama is unfolding there. We'll continue to monitor that, and I'll kind of give an explanation as to what's happening. But I really want to try to get one of my crypto friends to kind of give you guys a much clearer explanation to kind of saying what the hell's going on. So stay tuned. Tomorrow I'll be live at 9 a.m. Eastern time, and I think that's when I'm going to try to get someone on. So you're going to want to hit that notification bell to get notified when I do go live. I'll have Don on tomorrow, of course, and hopefully I'm trying to get my friend Tamp to come on here and we can talk about it. So make sure you're staying tuned to that. But before we get into anything else, let me hit my starting five. We got GMC Boom, Lord Fenrir, Bruce, Savvy Money Show, Allen 316. You guys are my starting five. If you missed the starting five, it could be because you're not subscribed to the channel or you're not hitting that notification bell and showing up early. So make sure you're doing all that, and you just might get shouted out in the next stream. Checking out some of the other comments here. Yeah, Danny Alvarado, we talked about the 20%, Square being 20% down. I will get into that in just a moment. GMC Boom says, the other day, topic was breakfast, and Brad mentioned McDonald's, and the market cornered on best breakfast. Well, those hash browns may have crack in them. They are so addictive. Bro, I'm telling you, listen, I did put out a poll. What, or was it earlier? Was it last week or earlier this week about like best places to get breakfast? And I said McDonald's was my best place to get breakfast. I love me some Chick-fil-A, don't get me wrong, but McDonald's, I think, just it does. They have the market on it. Whether it's good for you or not, McDonald's is the shit. Give me a good McGriddle, sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddle, forget about it. And then that hash brown tops it all off, 100%, bro. So I actually put a poll up in this morning just to be fun. Sometimes I put up polls that just aren't related to the stock market because, listen, you can't be boring all the time. How do you drink your coffee? 33% say black. I drink black coffee as well. Sugar and cream, 8%. Interesting. Either sugar or cream, one or the other, is 23%. And 31% of you are a bunch of commies and don't drink coffee at all. That poll is going to get more interesting, I think, as time goes on. Lord Fenrir says, I miss Tamp. Yeah, I still talk to Tamp, and so hopefully she'll be able to come on tomorrow. She's great. You guys are going to love her if you don't know who she is. DMC says half and half, classic strong, dark Guatemalan. I like GMC Boom likes his coffee like he likes his women. Allen 316 is apparently a commie. Yeah. All right. So what's going on in the market? So what happened yesterday? Let's go ahead and pull up the charts here. I'm going to pull up what's going on in the market overall. I'm going to pull up SPY first, and then we can kind of get into some of the individual stuff. But here's your SPY chart right now, the S&P 500 ETF. It is in the green. It's actually given back some of its highs of the pre-market right now. We'll see where this goes. But if you guys didn't catch yesterday's move, look at this. I mean, this is crazy. I literally, like I said, I signed off. Everything looked good. Jerome Powell was like, hey, listen, we're staying the course. He came in with a bit more of a softer tone and even said that they will do everything to ensure that depositors will be safe, will be taken care of, essentially. And then Janet Yellen comes out and shits on everybody's, well, pisses in everybody's Cheerios. Let's just stick with the breakfast theme, right? Here's what happened. So, as you guys, if you guys watched yesterday's stream, nearly 85%, there was a nearly 85% probability of a rate hike on Wednesday. I was a contrarian. I wanted to go the other direction, and I was kind of hoping that maybe we wouldn't see a rate hike at all. We would see just them not raise and kind of assess the landscape. But they raised it 0.25%. The market actually responded pretty positively to that because most people were expecting that. Quarter rate, the quarter point rate hike had little, if anything, to do with yesterday's move down. For once, this is according to the street. For once, Fed Chair Powell can smile because Wall Street isn't blaming him for Wednesday's beatdown, which before I actually looked into it, I thought Jerome just said something stupid like he normally does and brought the markets down, but that wasn't the case. The credit for that fiasco goes entirely to Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen. Powell did his best to reassure investors that the banking system was sound and went as far as to say, quote, "You've seen that we have the tools to protect depositors when there is a threat of serious harm to the economy. Depositors should assume their deposits are safe." And that's according to Barron's. Now, while Powell is reassuring Wall Street that the banking floodwaters were receding, Yellen chimed in and just said, no, fuck that. And said that her view on the banking sector more specifically, she said regarding the potential expansion of the FDIC coverage for deposits above $250,000. She said, quote, "This is not something that we have looked at, and it's not something that we're considering. I have not considered or discussed anything having to do with blanket insurance or guarantees of more deposits." Again, that was according to Barron's. Everyone's favorite melodramatic hedge fund manager and investor Bill Ackman was so frustrated by Yellen's comments that he took to Twitter to voice his displeasure, telling the Twitter sphere that a temporary system-wide deposit guarantee is needed to stop the bleeding. The longer the uncertainty continues, the more permanent the damage to the smaller banks and the more difficult it will be to bring their customers back. So again, like this is your 5-minute chart. Look, right here is where everything was going good. And actually, this is almost exactly where I signed off. And then Janet Yellen comes out, says her shit, and then obviously you can see what happened. Literally within the last 2 hours of the market is when we saw everything tank. You got Jerome Powell saying everything's fine, don't worry about your deposits, we'll got you covered. And Janet Yellen says, I don't know what you're talking about. We haven't discussed that at all. So who is right? Or is it that the right hand doesn't know what the left is doing, as per today's title? Which, by the way, I'm trying to give the morning streams and the afternoon streams more of a blanket branding. So as you guys see, today says Stock Market Breakfast. It's not really all that original, but I would love to get your guys' feedback on that. Give me some ideas of what we could call the morning show and the afternoon show. We could just keep that name, and then everything else I use is clippable content. I can put it up, recycle it, whatever else. That's my plan. So just a little side note there. Bodie Beard says, I signed off too early. It would have made a bad fisherman. Did I, or did I escape without the drama? There could be a couple ways to look at that. But nevertheless, this is something that I think is just absolutely crazy, that it's like these two didn't talk to each other, even though we know that they have, especially when it came to saving a lot of the banks. But I think that there's potential, and we're already kind of seeing that this morning, that Janet may have set up a bear trap for the bears, because we're seeing some pretty decent movement in the markets overall this morning. We'll see, obviously, if that hangs on, because it's been a little bumpy this morning. as the SPY is still up about 0.5%. But we all know how fast that can change. But it seems as if there's a potential bear trap here in the works. And we take a look at some of the other stocks that are out there. We take a look at the Qs. As I'd mentioned, the Qs were up over 1% this morning, sitting right around 1% right now. Tech is still on absolute fire. We take a look at Microsoft. That's up 1.45%. Meta Platforms is also up 2% this morning and continues to just be an absolute monster. Alphabet also, I mean, the major tech companies are up 1%. And then Apple also looking good, up 1%. Again, obviously it's early, but Jesus Christ, can you take a look at this? This is Janet Yellen opening her big ass mouth. This sell off. Did anybody at the end of the day, did anybody grab anything at the close thinking that this was, overblown, overreaction? Let me know in the comments. I'd be curious to get your guys' thoughts if you guys took any action on this yesterday. Because that is just insane. Lord Finner, once again, your poll choices suck. I don't drink coffee, but I'm nowhere near a commie. Listen, if you don't drink coffee, I don't know if I can trust you. And I don't trust commies. Chris Edwards says, imagine that two government people who don't know what's going on. Yeah, right. Like, these people are running the country, Chris Edwards. Shock City Rocker said he added to Toast. Listen, Toast is one of them stocks that's under the radar. We've talked about it here. It was actually a stock that I had for Stockwatch Sunday. But Toast is, here we go to the daily chart. Let's take a look at the daily. I need to figure out how to adjust this better or faster. But this is your daily chart. It's obviously pulled back a little bit, but the earnings that they've had recently have been on fire, and the growth for Toast is really good. Right now, it's up 1%. Shock City Rocker. So not blowing anybody's doors off, but we'll see how today shakes out. Looks like a potential bottom. The chart looks pretty darn good for Toast on the daily. I kind of like it as long as it holds here. Don't hate that at all. Does cappuccino count? Yeah, there's coffee in cappuccino. I feel like you'd have to vote sugar and cream if you're gonna just be drinking cappuccino, though. Listen, Christian didn't drink coffee either, and I never understood that. Looks like we got a lot of commies here watching the show today, though. 26% of you don't drink coffee. What's wrong with you people? Buddybeard says, Janet Yellen reminds me of the caterpillar from Your Highness movie? No idea. Don Franz says, coffee is just shit water. You guys. I swear. Although Don drinks Monsters, which aren't really great either. They're not good. Okay. King Hargrave says, I can drink coffee, but I get the bubble guts. That happens to the best of us, man. That's what keeps you regular, bro. Actually, I ditched Monsters. That's why earnings are red. Yeah, Don's putting them out of business by not drinking coffee, not drinking Monsters anymore. Bodie Beard is bougie with the chai tea and cardamom. We got bougie coffee drinkers out here too. I'm just regular coffee drinker. Give me the black coffee. That's it. Done. Guys, make sure you're sticking around for the weird news of the day. We also got birthdays that are coming up. And listen, we got some more headlines that I'm going to be covering. We're going to get into, in just a few moments, into what's going on with Coinbase. And the SEC and how they are attacking the crypto space, it is insane. I mean, drama everywhere when it comes to the crypto space. And I know that's not really something that we talk about a lot, but it is important because Coinbase stock is tanking and it's actually bringing a lot of other stocks down with it, one of them being Block. So this might be something that some of you might be interested in or not. But even if you're not, you really need to pay attention to this because it's not just affecting one area. It's actually having a ripple effect towards other securities too that you might actually be interested in. I always get some crazy pushback when I talk about crypto on this channel, and it's just like, you got to get with the times, man. But also, we're going to be talking about TikTok and the TikTok ban or potential ban, and definitely want to get your guys' thoughts on that. Also, the weird news of the day has to do with a straight-up dinosaur. You're not going to want to miss that. Legit dinosaur, walking dinosaur in Florida. You're not going to want to miss that. So with that being said, let's get into the next news piece. So Coinbase is in trouble, and the CEO of Coinbase has sold a shit ton of shares. Coinbase right now is down 19%. It was down 8% yesterday. Let's take a look at that 5-minute chart, and I'll explain to you why this is happening. I'm going to pull this up here real quick. There we go. And so, oh, what happened? Oh, there we go. Here we go. So, yeah, as you can see, it's down 18% right now. What is happening with Coinbase and why is this tanking? It has everything to do with the SEC and the pushback that Coinbase is actually giving the SEC. It is actually quite crazy. So according to Yahoo Finance, Coinbase said in a regulatory filing yesterday that it received a Wells notice from the Securities and Exchange Commission stating that the SEC staff had made a preliminary determination to recommend an enforcement action against the largest U.S. crypto exchange for violations of federal securities laws. Coinbase stock was down 12% in pre-market trading, and actually right now it's down 18%. The stock has more than doubled since the beginning of January, but is still down more than 75% since its April 14th, 2021 IPO. You guys might remember that. Fat Man Zoom and I were alive for that, and it was an absolute shit show. Coinbase said in its filing that it believes an action relates to specific crypto assets listed on the platform will include aspects of the exchange spot market, staking service, prime and wallet services. A potential civil action from the SEC, it added, may be injunctive relief disgorgement and civil penalties. Excuse me. A Wells notice informs a company or individual of the completion of investigations where a regulator has discovered infractions within the law. Receivers of such a notice are required to respond within 30 days with a legal brief. Coinbase did not respond to requests for comment, but published a blog post at the time its filing became available, stating that the company is prepared to fight. They said, quote, "We are confident in the legality of our assets and services, and if needed, we welcome a legal process to provide the clarity we have been advocating for and to demonstrate the SEC simply has not been fair or reasonable when it comes to its engagement on digital assets." Coinbase, that's from the Coinbase Chief Legal Officer Paul Graywall, said in a blog post. Coinbase's filing follows a string of SEC enforcement actions and several Wells notices sent to crypto firms in recent weeks. Several involved cases related to the collapse of the cryptocurrency exchange FTX. Since the beginning of January, the SEC has made 11 enforcement actions against crypto firms and individuals, including from earlier Wednesday against crypto entrepreneur Justin Sun, which I will be talking about in just a moment. The SEC settled charges against the second largest crypto exchange, Kraken, for offering the sale of unregistered securities through its crypto staking program. And Coinbase also has a staking program with terms that differ from the Kraken program. It told Yahoo Finance it would fight any action against the service. SEC Chair Gary Gensler has called for crypto exchanges to register with the agency, but Coinbase Chief Policy Officer, is it Faryar Shirzad, told Yahoo Finance last Friday that there's just no way to do so. And this is going to be something that we're going to continue to monitor. And it's now down 20% and continuing to fall. And so it's going to be interesting to see how this all shakes out because the SEC has been cracking down on everything. We saw, and some of it's self-inflicted, some of it's not, but the SEC ain't fucking around right now. It's going to be something that I think is going to be a long drawn out thing, and Coinbase may not be may not be something that we should maybe look towards, at least for now. I think it's going to be a bit jumpy. I think it's going to be super volatile, and it's kind of telling that the CEO sold a shit ton of shares. What's the CEO selling shares for if there's not some sort of lack of confidence in the stock itself, right? What the heck's his name? Is it Brian Armstrong? That's the CEO of Coinbase. I think that's his name. But yeah, I think that I would stay away from Coinbase, and the SEC is just on an absolute warpath. But let me know what you guys think. I mean, am I off on this? Are you looking at Coinbase and trying to buy this up or what? Don Franz show, yeah, Block did get a hit piece from Hindenburg. I actually just pulled that up and I saw that. Danny Alvarado, Block might bounce on an overreaction. We'll see. So they will get a settlement and a penalty, says Chris Edwards. I don't know. And even if they do, like the Kraken thing, it took a long time. And Kraken was never a publicly traded company. So it'll be interesting to see how Coinbase actually recovers from this. I mean, we take a look at the stock right now, and year to date, stock's up 129.5%. Right? That's without today's drop, so it's probably only up 110%. Big whoop. Over the last 52 weeks, it's down 60% still. So I just think it's super risky right now, especially given the situation that it's in and the SEC just breathing down its neck. I would be very nervous if I was a Coinbase holder right now. For those of you who made a bunch of money on Coinbase, congrats, you made your money. Now take that and run. In my opinion, obviously you don't have to do what I say because I'm not a professional. But this would be super risky, I think, in my opinion, to continue to hang on to. And that's not to say that crypto isn't investable. I think that Bitcoin's still very much something that you can invest in, but these exchanges are really feeling it right now because of the SEC. Don said that Kraken came forward to make the deal, which changes things. By the time the SEC chooses you, it's bad. Yes, and it seems as if Coinbase is also digging in their heels. So I would be super careful with this because they're going to go toe-to-toe with the U.S. government at this point. That's what they're claiming, that they've done everything, that they've complied to everything that's been asked of them. But it's just going to be interesting. To follow that up, the SEC is also charging Tron founder Justin Sun, who apparently is a piece of shit, if you ask anybody in the crypto space. And then you have Lindsay Lohan and Jake Paul that the SEC is also charging with crypto violations. The SEC unveiled charges against the diplomat Justin Sun for fraud and securities violations while also charging celebrity backers, including Jake Paul and Lindsay Lohan. The charges deal with Sun's alleged trade manipulation of 2 crypto tokens and celebrity endorsements that did not disclose compensation. The touting violations have nearly all been settled without admittance or denial of wrongdoing. The SEC has unveiled fraud and unregistered securities against a crypto founder, Grenadian diplomat. Grenadian diplomat Justin Sun, alongside separate violations against the celebrity backers of its Tronix and BitTorrent crypto assets. And that was Jake Paul and Lindsay Lohan. And Soulja Boy. Gary Gensler said this case demonstrates again the high-risk investors face when crypto asset securities are offered and sold without proper disclosure. If you guys recall, the SEC went after one of the Kardashians. Was it Kim Kardashian? She had to pay like $1 million or over $1 million for not disclosing that she was getting paid by the crypto service. And it looks as if this is a very similar situation. There are 8 total celebrities in this case. Some of them are not really well known. Lil Yachty, Kendra Lust, Neo, Akon. You guys know those. Austin Mahone. All except for Soulja Boy. Mahone is agreeing to pay $400,000 in disgorgement, interest, and penalties settled. The charges, the settlements were not admittance or denial of guilt, apparently, allegedly. Tron and his backers' alleged behavior was a part of an age-old playbook to mislead and harm investors. At the same time, Sun paid celebrities with millions of social media followers to tout unregistered offerings, while specifically directing that they not disclose their compensation. That is something, obviously this is different than the Coinbase situation, but just another case that the SEC is going after. I mean, like I said, they are not messing around. Don says, if you don't stand up, though, they'll bully you forever, referring to the Coinbase side of things. Yeah, absolutely. I just think it's going to be a long and drawn-out thing, and obviously this is going to cost Coinbase money too, right? So that's going to impact their bottom line, I would imagine, which also impacts earnings. Coinbase certainly doesn't need that right now. Don Fran says, imagine taking financial advice or ideas from that group. I know. Imagine being like Akon. Akon's like, hey, yeah, buy this crypto because I'm Akon and I know what I'm talking about. And people just say, okay, right? Like, Jesus Christ. Lord Fender says the SEC is going after crypto because the U.S. government wants to centralize it and control it. I absolutely agree with that, my man. They're not going to be able to do that with Bitcoin, though. Good luck. But other cryptos, certainly a possibility. Certainly the ability to do that. I highly doubt they're going to be able to do that with Bitcoin. They can try, but I don't think it's going to happen. So that's kind of your crypto news. Like I said, it's impacting. It's impactful. I think it's worth at least keeping your finger on the pulse of what's going on there, because the U.S. government ain't messing around. Okay, let's get on and move on to the Square thing, because initially I had thought that Square was like the Square issue had been related to what was going on in Coinbase. It's not. And it has everything to do with Hindenburg and famously coined Hinden Turd by Fat Man Zoom. There is a huge piece from Hindenburg on Block, basically accusing Block of fraud. I'm trying to find a way to summarize this. So let me try and do it this way. Let's see here. Give me one moment. I'll go ahead and let me pull up Square right now, because it is, if you guys, actually, let me just pause it real quick. So here you go. There's what's going on with Square right now. It's down 17%. It was actually down 6% yesterday. If you guys aren't familiar with Square or Block, what they do, they are essentially a payment system. If you guys probably have seen them, especially with smaller businesses, very well known for POS, point of sale systems, but they got their hands in just about everything. Peer-to-peer transactions, they're heavily invested in Bitcoin, and like I said, they got their hands in just about everything. So then Hindenburg Research comes out with a hit piece on them. They're a known shorting entity, and so no surprise to see the stock is down. Sometimes they're spot on. Sometimes it's heavily biased towards the short side because they are short sellers. But Hindenburg comes in and claims that Block overstated its user accounts, according to the report, and that they didn't immediately respond to any kind of request from anybody at this point. Short interest is at 4.9%, so it'll be interesting. Hindenburg Research is one of the more high-profile short sellers in the past few years and is well known for its short call and electric vehicle maker Nikola, as well as Lordstown Motors. We've seen them go after DraftKings, Clover, and many other companies. But this is very interesting to kind of see what they're accusing Block of. So here's a couple highlights from Hindenburg's Twitter account. Block, formerly known as Square, is a $44 billion market cap company that claims to have developed a frictionless and magical, quote, magical, you can already tell the bias is here, financial technology with a mission to empower the unbanked and underbanked. Hindenburg did apparently a 2-year investigation that concludes that Square systematically exploits the demographics it claims to help. The magic behind Square has not been innovation, but its willingness to mislead investors, facilitate fraud, avoid regulation, and dress up predatory products as revolutionary tech. Hindenburg said our research involved dozens of interviews with former employees, partners, and industry experts, extensive review of regulatory and litigation records, an FOIA and public records request. Most analysts are excited about the post-pandemic surge of Square's Cash App platform, with expectations its 51 million monthly transacting active users and low customer acquisition costs will drive high margin growth and serve as a future platform to offer new products. But it seems as if those numbers have been fraudulent. Again, this is according to the Hindenburg. Says that our research shows that Square has widely overstated genuine user accounts and understated customer acquisition costs for years. Former employees evidenced that many users have dozens or even hundreds of accounts associated with them, vastly inflating user metrics. Block obfuscates how many unique individuals use Cash App, reporting misleading metrics on transacting actives, which includes duplicate accounts by the same user. Former employees estimate that 40 to 75% of accounts they reviewed were fake, involved in fraud, or duplicates. Square has embraced one of the very underbanked segment criminals. When users were caught engaging in fraud, Square would blacklist the account but not ban the user. Former employees showed us blacklisted accounts associated with dozens or hundreds of other live accounts suspected of fraud. And this is just part of the investigation from Hindenburg. Now, if any of this is true, here's what I'll say. It's really bad. Don Francho said it's the Wish version of PayPal. Yeah. If this is true, this is really bad. And if this is true, this also makes me question. Kind of what's been going on with Twitter. If you recall, one of the big reasons why Elon Musk wanted to take over Twitter, which, by the way, Jack Dorsey was the founder and CEO of, who is also the founder CEO of Block. One of Elon Musk's biggest complaints, his biggest gripes, was that Twitter was full of bots and fake accounts. Now, listen, I'm not trying to say that I'm in favor of Hindenburg or that I love Hindenburg. Sometimes I think the things that they say are quite preposterous, and obviously they have an agenda, right? But you could make the argument, and you could kind of connect the dots here, that if Jack Dorsey wasn't doing anything about fake accounts and actually using those fake accounts on Twitter as a part of their active users or as a part of their users on Twitter to investors, is it really that much of a stretch to think that it's possible that he was doing that with Square as well and some of the Cash App users? I don't think so. To me, Jack Dorsey seems a bit sus at this point. I mean, this is starting to look like a pattern. And again, I'm not saying that Hindenburg is absolutely correct in this, but they did say they did a 2-year, investigation on this, investigated former employees, and apparently they have proof of all this. So this is very fluid and lots, unfolding here. But this could be some serious shit. These are some serious allegations that Hindenburg is putting out towards Block. And so is it really that unbelievable? At this point, I don't think it is. But let me know what you guys think about this situation. And are you looking at an opportunity to trade Block? Because this seems awfully risky at this point, right? When we take a look at the chart here, and it's continuing to fall down now. It's down over 21% in pre-market trading. Alex Ramirez, how many bots did Elon shut down on Twitter? Well, he's still working on it. I mean, you got to remember, Elon took over Twitter 6 months ago. Maybe not even 6 months ago yet. People just think that he could flip a switch. I think Twitter's better already, though, in the last 5 months than it ever has been. And Twitter is my favorite platform of choice. I love Twitter. It's where I get all my news. I love it. But people think that you can just flip a switch. I'm not saying that you're saying that, Alex, but Elon's taking care of it. Bodie Beard says, Jack be like, oh, I know what we can do. I did this at Twitter. Yeah, no shit. Lord Fenrir says, Jack is just clueless. It's more ignorance than malice on his part. He hired the wrong people to steal his IPs, or to steer his IPs. Guys, I can't read. Potentially, I wouldn't rule that out, Lord Fenrir. I wouldn't rule that out. But it certainly seems like a pattern, right? You know, you're going to turn a blind eye to this stuff, and you're going to be like, well, I don't really, if nobody says anything, I guess it's okay. But, you know, you had fake users on Twitter, and it seems as if there are now fake users on Cash App, a.k.a. Block, a.k.a. Square. But I feel like maybe there's a possibility he's clueless, but there's also like, I don't know, like omission, plausible deniability, I guess. Right? So, I don't know. Definitely seems sus, without a doubt. Without a doubt. But markets are officially open now. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on with the SPY. S&P 500 is now moving up here after the open. It's now up 0.8% and continuing to climb. And now, granted, this is after the stock market, or the S&P ended down 1.5% on some BS Janet Yellen comments. But it is interesting. We now just saw the SPY go up over pre-market highs. So we'll see if this trend, this momentum can continue. Looks like it can be. It could, but it is early. So we'll just continue to keep an eye on that. And I wanted to get into the weird news of the day. Guys, pretty crazy things are going on all over the world. And there is no shortage of weird news. Absolutely no shortage of weird news whatsoever. Let's take a look here. Is this the right one? Yeah. Look at this. Look at this freaking dinosaur right now. That is crazy. Oh, damn it. That is crazy. That is a 10-foot gator, by the way. In Forest Glen community in Naples, Florida. Can you imagine that thing walking across your front yard? So there's a giant alligator in Naples, Florida. 10 foot, like I said, through an upscale community in Florida. Wink meteorologist Matt Devitt posted footage on Facebook of the, quote, big boy waddling across the road in Forest Glen Golf Country Club in Naples late last week. And the scaly jaywalker, which apparently arrived from a nearby river, took all the attention in stride as it straddled manicured lawns of the gated community. And the pictures are absolutely crazy. Go check this out. Florida is a home to some 1.3 million alligators, which can be found in all 67 counties of the Sunshine State. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Department safely removed the beast, which caused no injuries among the residents. Forest Glen Golf Country Club in Naples, Florida is a club of distinction for those who desire community with friendly people, superior golf, yada, 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 yada. But anyways, this thing was fucking huge, man. Look at this. I mean, that's the gator right there. Giant. Absolutely giant. I thought there was like yeah, look at this. I mean, that is a dinosaur. That's a living, breathing dinosaur. I thought they like euthanized gators that were bigger than a certain size. Maybe that's not in Florida. Maybe it's somewhere else. But I could have sworn that was a thing. That's your weird news of the day today. Just something to break up the stock market chatter. It's Florida. How's this even news? Because it's giant, man. 10-foot gator. Are you kidding me? That's news even in Florida. I think the record is like 13 feet in Florida. So that was a big boy. All right. Somebody was talking about the Qs. Let's take a look at the Qs here real quick. NASDAQ 100, the tech-heavy NASDAQ 100 is up 1.25%. Now let's take a look at some of the other tech stocks here. So you guys know that I've been having my eye on CrowdStrike. That's up 2% this morning. Starting to get back some of the gains from its push right out the gate. We can take a look at SoFi as well. That is up marginally, no big deal there. We could take a look at some of the bigger boys, though. Alphabet is up 1.4%. Apple is still moving as well. Gave back some of its gains, but that's up 0.75%. Amazon is up 1%. Microsoft continuing to rock and roll here, now up 1.33%. So tech, as I'd mentioned, continues to make some moves. We haven't talked about the banks at all today, but let's take a look at Charles Schwab. That's actually down around 0.5%. I think this is probably down because of some of the Janet Yellen comments still, but Schwab still seems to be a decent value here. We'll take a look at this on the daily chart. By the way, these are Don's charts that I've started to use. If you guys aren't familiar with this, Don has custom charts that he has marked with all of his zones. If you guys want access to this, go make sure you're checking us out over at patreon.com/ownthechaos. We got Don with his charts as well as trade alerts. And today he's taking a bunch of questions over at patreon.com/ownthechaos. The link is in the description. It's $5, $5 a month for that. And we'd love to have your guys' support in that way. You're not going to miss that $5, but it's certainly going to help us out a lot. And we certainly would appreciate it. It's going to help me continue to create content for you guys as well as Don. And you get exclusive content from me as well that you're not going to get anywhere else. Access to our Discord, all that stuff. And these charts. So this is Charles Schwab. This one isn't charted out. Of course, I'm talking about zones and everything. This one isn't charted out, but Schwab looks as if it's potentially bottomed out here around 55. This looks like a great value. If you guys haven't caught any of the news, their CEO bought $50,000 or 50,000 shares worth of Charles Schwab after this dip. Ron Barron, well-known investor, also bought a shit ton of Schwab. And this moved down as a result of some of the SVB things, stuff that went on. And it's kind of remained down here in this little channel. I think that Schwab is bottomed out, and I think this is actually a good value. This is a good time to look at Charles Schwab, grab it on the dip. But that one's just doing okay for today. Bank of America is up around 1.25%. Wells Fargo is up 0.6%. And JP Morgan is up 1.5%. Morgan Stanley, yeah, all the big banks are doing pretty well. Morgan Stanley's up 1.5 or 1%. Sorry, so pretty good across the banks. I saw Lord Fenrir mention that the theme is tech and banks, and that seems to continue to be what's happening here. Lord Fenrir says, "I've seen bigger." Look at the video of them catching the croc. Says Bodie Beard. I'll have to look at it later. Z-Writer asked, would I buy Coinbase? I would not buy Coinbase. I wouldn't buy. Like, the thing of it is that not even the CEO, Brian Armstrong, is buying Coinbase. And in fact, he's selling it. So if the CEO is going to sell Coinbase, does that mean you would go and buy it? And look, listen, it's bounced a little bit from its lows this morning. It was down 21%, now only down 15%. But it's just too risky, I think, right now. This is just my opinion. If you want to go out and buy Coinbase because you disagree and you think you're looking to buy the overreaction on this dip, then by all means, that's your prerogative. But if you're asking me if I would not. I think it's just too risky. Don Mafia said, did a quick scalp on Square. I want to add 57 to 55 range. Yeah, that's another one that I think that I would just try to avoid. I think there's so many better opportunities out there, in my opinion. Square's still down quite a bit. If you scalped it, great, good for you. I'm glad you made some money, but I think the more that you play with this fire, the higher the chances you are getting burned. So, like I said, just be careful, but I wouldn't be touching this, like, at all. I mean, Look at NVIDIA, man. And I'm not saying, look, people are going to look at NVIDIA and say, well, it's just too high. I wouldn't buy this here. And listen, I even made some mentions about that last night that, you know, risk reward wise is coming down. But we saw NVIDIA kind of really take it on the chin with everything else after Janet Yellen's comments. You can start to see this moving back up. NVIDIA, if you're looking to make a day trade out of this, NVIDIA popped up over the pre-market highs. And so lots of times you'll see stocks continue to move. The momentum is going to continue. I'd much rather be buying NVIDIA than a Square right now. I can tell you that right now, without question. Largest gator found in Florida was 17 feet 5 inches, at least on record. Damn. That is insane. That is insane. 17 and a half feet. That's ridiculous. Oh, my God. And gators live a long time, don't they? Yeah, hit that thumbs up, guys, if you're enjoying the stream so far. I certainly would appreciate it. All right, lastly, last bit of news I wanted to talk about was TikTok. Do any of you guys have TikTok? Let me know in the comments if you have TikTok or use TikTok. I have TikTok, and I used to use it a lot, specifically for social media purposes. Obviously, I am on social media, and if that is you, then most people who are creators, such as myself, have a TikTok so they can create their followings. I've since used it less and less, and I'm about to turn it off myself. But there is a potential vote happening on TikTok, and it's banned in the U.S. And the reason I'm pulling up Oracle is because TikTok is working with Oracle, has worked with Oracle on storing its data. All the U.S. data apparently is stored with Oracle, yet the U.S. government is continuing to move forward with this ban. TikTok CEO, this is according to Barron's, TikTok CEO Shu Chu will testify Thursday, that's today, before a congressional committee, and he is sure to get a cold reception. The key question is whether he will make any progress in convincing Congress and the White House that the growing clamor in Washington to ban the wildly popular short video social media app is unnecessary, bad policy, and based on unfounded concerns, which I don't know if that's actually the case. Complicating the matter is the fact that TikTok is denting the business models of key rivals in social media sector, Meta platforms, Alphabet, YouTube has their shorts now. In a written testimony submitted ahead of the hearing before the House Committee on Energy and Commerce, Chu says that TikTok has more than 1 billion users worldwide, with more than 150 million monthly active users in the U.S. alone. And about 90% of those users are between the ages of 18 and 24. He said content produced by U.S. users accounts for a quarter of total views. And in recent weeks and months, a wide assortment of government agencies state that local bodies and even colleges have banned the installation of TikTok apps on mobile devices, apparently out of concern that TikTok could be used as a tool to the Chinese government. If you guys aren't familiar, TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, is owned by the Chinese government, and either to spy on Americans or to include propaganda in user content feeds. TikTok contends the fears are unfounded. And in fact, TikTok, like I had mentioned earlier, has used Oracle as kind of a buffer. And they store data with Oracle. TikTok does. The TikTok US data does. But if you guys really kind of take a deep dive into TikTok and just how much information they actually grab from you, read the fine print, read the terms and conditions, it is kind of scary. And it has nothing to do with you actually using the app itself, but what happens when you turn that app off and all the information it grabs from your phone after the fact. Listening to whatever you're saying or doing, anytime you make searches, anytime that you share a TikTok video with someone else, and that person opens up a video that you shared. TikTok's now grabbing their information as well. Now, Meta platforms, Alphabet, they gather a lot of information as well. but not nearly as invasive as TikTok is. And TikTok's just blatant about it. They're out with it. It's not hidden information. And so that's why we're seeing a lot of the bans take place. And not to mention that it's all connected to the Chinese government. So that's also a huge concern for national security. And so I think that that is something that we should really take a closer look at. But you have Oracle here. I think if this ban takes place, Oracle may not have a nice time. And so why am I bringing this up? Because if there is indeed a ban and this continues to escalate, Meta Platforms, and I know that we've been talking about it a lot, and the stock's up a ton this year. You take a look at the performance of Meta, and it has been on absolute fire, which is something that Don Fran and I have both been huge supporters of. Year to date, Meta Platforms is up 62%. But if this ban goes through, Meta Platforms is still going to go absolutely nuts. Why? Because if TikTok is banned, then the market share goes to Meta Platforms and Alphabet. And Meta Platforms, their Reels app, I think is right now as it stands better than Alphabet's. The YouTube Shorts are getting there. But especially when it comes down to like copyright music and copyright infringement, Meta Platforms has got that on lock. TikTok and Meta has that figured out. YouTube still hasn't quite figured that out. But this stock's going to continue to rip if we see some sort of ban on TikTok. And again, you can also look at Alphabet too. So those are two stocks that I would look for. I would probably end up shorting Oracle because if Oracle loses that partnership, then that's going to be a huge dent in their revenue. So that's what I would do. That's what I'd be looking towards if we do actually see some sort of ban or some sort of escalation on banning TikTok in the U.S. Lord Fenner says, I'm stacking January puts on NVIDIA. Selling puts or buying puts? I'm assuming you're selling puts because NVIDIA is just going absolutely nuts. It'll be interesting, man. I mean, the AI piece to it. If you guys haven't caught what's been going on with NVIDIA on the AI side, I think NVIDIA is getting to a point to where I just don't know if I would be short or long on it just because it's gone crazy. If I had to choose, I would go long on NVIDIA. But the AI discussion on NVIDIA is what's really continuing to move the stock. And it is just on absolute fire, man. It really is. It really is. They have, there's a news article that came out, Seeking Alpha. They unveiled several new products and partnerships at their GTC 23 developer conference on Tuesday. That was earlier this week, including new quantum computing platform. And Jensen Huang said that impressive capabilities of generative AI created a sense of urgency for companies to reinvent themselves and be the disruptor and not the disrupted. The iPhone moment of AI has started, Huang said, referencing the amount of attention generative AI and specifically ChatGPT has received. And so they kind of really talked about heavily investing in AI and having the chips to do so. And that's kind of really what's prompted the stock to go up. If that theme continues, if that trend continues, NVIDIA can continue to really do well. But yeah, I mean, the stock's hot as shit. Buying puts, okay. I've heard about rum. Lord Fenrir. But yeah, that's my take on that. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's show. Thanks so much for tuning in. I certainly appreciate you guys. You are the best. And I'll be back at 3:45 p.m. today to do it all over again. See what else is going on in the markets. It's going to be a short stream this afternoon. I do have other plans in the works, prior commitments, what have you, that I'll have to cut today's stream short. But you're still not going to miss it. Make sure you're hitting that notification bell and join me this afternoon. And, of course, we have birthdays to close out the show. Happy birthday to Kyrie Irving. He's 30 years old. Perez Hilton is 44. Randall Park, TV actor, is 48. Country singer Brett Young is 44. And let's not forget about adult film actress Houston. It's early birthday for her. Birthday will be tomorrow. There's no birthdays today. So I had to go into tomorrow. But she'll be 53 tomorrow. She's best known for Airtight 2, Bra Busters, MILFs Illustrated, Stop, My Ass is on Fire 5, and the world's biggest bang off. Happy birthday, Houston. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Again, I'll be back this afternoon. I love you all so much. Stay safe until then, and have a good one. See ya.